So let's get started with the installation of our own LJ rig. What we are going to need for the virtual installation is VirtualBox, and I have it already downloaded. I'm just going to open it up and start with the installation process, which is quite simple. Just run through the steps and hit install. Once the installation is done, I'm just going to open it up and we are going to create 3 VMs. So I'm gonna name the master as Mark 1. Make sure it is Linux Ubuntu 64-bit, 1800 MB RAM, and a virtual hard disk which is dynamically allocated. I hit continue, and we have one of that VM created, so I'm just gonna create 2 more. The exact same setup as we did for the first one. Just making sure if I'm going correctly. Yeah. Once we have all 3 of them ready, just gonna have to boot them up, and for that I'm going to use an ISO file that I have downloaded. Before that, one more thing. Yeah, I'm gonna set up a NAT network. So I'm gonna remove any other NAT network that I have, and I'm gonna create just one. Make sure that IPv6 is checked, and then open each of the VMs and make sure that the 3 of them have the setting set to attach to NAT network. Once we are done with this, I'm just gonna follow the install sh setup. So power on your VMs and add your Ubuntu ISOs. Hit start, wait for it to boot, and it's gonna take some time. Just gonna fast forward through it, and once it's loaded up, we are gonna click on install Ubuntu, and we have to run through the steps just as I'm gonna. So here I am. You can install Ubuntu, install third-party software, and other steps like using something else, creating a partition. Let's continue. Make it primary, the free space one, and mount point as so. Make sure this step is done correctly, and then we can click install now and hit continue. After this, it's gonna ask for your time zone. Select the right time zone, click continue, the language, and you need to just see where the continue button is. Just drag that window, and I'm gonna name the box. I think I will name it LG1. Just gonna make the password mark 1, and I'm gonna make sure the devices are LG1, LG2, LG3 to make our life easier. So my name, I will make it LG. This I'm gonna do same thing in all three of the VMs, and computer name is LG1. Just making sure everything is correctly, and we have to repeat this same thing 3 times, and this installation thing will take time, so I'm gonna fast forward through it. So one of them is about to be installed, and um, making the same things in Mark 2. Install Ubuntu and running through the same procedure. Install third-party software. So why don't I power on Mark 3 as well, so we can just have all three of them completed at almost similar time. So all three of them are simultaneously running, and just gonna fast forward through it again once this installation thing is done. So here I am, and all three of them have been installed with, and they are running Ubuntu 64-bit. And just follow the docs and run through the command. What we need is sudo apt update and sudo apt get upgrade minus f to install all the dependencies. Just gonna do all three of them simultaneously. One more thing, sudo apt upgrade minus f is gonna take some time, so I'll just fast forward through it. After that, what we need is to install curl and then LSB core. Also that this installation we can do simultaneously, but when we are running that bash command for installing Google Earth, we need to make sure that the master is first installed, then the save. So just about time I'm gonna hit sudo apt install curl to get curl installed, which is just a program to get content from the internet. Just making sure I'm running right procedure. We are just close to getting our setup ready for RLG rig. So here I have sudo apt upgrade minus f completed, and I'm gonna install curl on all three of them. Once that is done, I'm gonna install LSB core. No problem so far. And now I'm gonna hit the bash command and one for master, so I'm gonna type one. It's gonna ask multiple times to just click any key if you want to continue. So after enter, just press any key and continue to it. Number of devices are 3 and the octet is 42. No extra drivers we need, so N. So everything is correct. I'm gonna press any key. Just wait for it. It's gonna take some time, but it will start on its own. So yeah. One more problem that I faced was if I hit enter to reboot once this bash installation is done, it was giving me an infinite login page where once I hit login after filling the credentials, it will again pop back the login page. So it was like an infinite loop or something. So to overcome that, if you face that, just when it asks you to reboot, you instead of rebooting, you head over to the shutdown option and click restart from there instead of pressing enter for it. So once these things are done, I'm also gonna need some extra drivers. So paste in the code as I have. Also, I faced this problem where they weren't syncing in. So make sure to hit LG relaunch, and if your port connection is showing timeout or some other sort of error, the way you figure it out was checking if everything is correctly installed, or like in my case I had to oh, run through that procedure of installing Google Earth again, making sure that I have attached the correct IP address for the master, and also I had to make sure that I was on the correct version of Google Earth. For having three PC setup, you're gonna need 7.1.3 and or it was 7.1.8 something. But here we are having virtual setup, so we need the latest 7.3 version. So the setup seems nice for the main master VM. I'm just gonna make sure I'm having the right. Yeah, I pasted the right machine IP address. Gonna fill in the details just as before. So yeah, if some syncing problems shows up, just tweak it out. Like if the error is from the installation or filling in the wrong machine IP or something else. Also, I turned off the second machine while installation is being done on the third one. I don't want the system to get too laggy or something else. Once all of it is done, I believe it will just sync up. I hope it does. So yeah, we have gone through the process correctly and just wait for the other two to load up. So yeah, it has shown up. I just have to place it correctly. So 3, 1 and 2, and here we go. We are controlling it from the master, which is the Mark 1, and the other two automatically readjust themselves, as we can see here. Also, if you have any your offset errors, you can just check it by doing sudo nano and change the value from 42 to 36.5. and with minus sign on the other. Just making sure if it's working correctly. Yeah, everything seems fine. So here it is.